Are you okay with a full album reaction? Because I'm okay with a full album reaction. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hope you're all having a fantastic day out there. Hope you've had a good day. If it's like myself and you're at the end of your day, hope that it began fine and it ends the same way. Let us go ahead and dive into a little bit from Greg Sage debut album from Mr. Sage, Straight Ahead. Just straight up. 1985 is when it was released. Why we're listening to this? We're listening to this because it was suggested and sponsored by Andreas. Andreas, thank you so much for the suggestion. Thank you so much for the over-the-top support as well. Truly appreciate that. Now, Greg Sage is a name that I'm unfamiliar with. However, we are familiar with him because he's the frontman of the Wipers, or of Wipers, who we've listened to. We've listened to their album Youth of America quite a while back. And so we're getting a little bit of reintroduction. Now, looking at the album cover, which you'll see, of course, pop up here shortly, I can't help but think that this is going to be some sort of like, it's making me think of like Sublime for some reason. Here, I'll pull you guys up here real quick. Like, it's just reminding me of Sublime for some reason. Like, it's the guitar above it. It's kind of giving a little bit of Clint Eastwood. Which one is the one over there in the graveyard? Good, the Bad, and the Ugly at the end? Is it Fields of Gold, the piece of music? Anyways, like, it's given that kind of energy, something kind of Scottish. I'm assuming perhaps it's not going to be, but never know. Anyways, thank you guys as always for being here and for clicking on the video and stopping by. Let us go ahead and dive on in to the music. As typical, as usual, we'll discuss it a little bit after. We'll start off with the first song here, entitled, quite fittingly, Straight Ahead. And as always, my friends, this little bit of water is to you.
Story just about 1,000,000 times, but I read the book, man. I know it's between the lines. There's a long road ahead before they can really see. It's time to break you loose. It's time to set you free. Too long to end up lost. You can't look back. You just look straight. Just straight ahead. A friend of mine, he pumped the world right through his veins. He broke down and cried. Oh, it's such a shame.
He sounds like someone.
The pain people feel. How can this be right? Like we're all lost souls here, just blind in the night. Well, you search too long to end up lost.
I like the bass line here.
You can't look back. You just look straight. Just straight ahead. There's too many heartaches, just too many times. There's so many people here, just so many trying. But who's gonna save us when we reach the end? Tell me who's gonna be there, who's gonna be your friend. Well, we're such too long
Okay, first of all, can I tell you? Sage sounds, he's reminding me of like Devoto from Magazine a little bit. He has that like gravely kind of voice, and the way that he drags his singing actually reminds me a little bit of Stranglers as well. Like it's kind of giving that kind of feel to it. But I think that that's like a cool sound and a cool delivery, and then putting it in an atmosphere like this, which definitely, you know, the genre and the sound I was thinking initially when looking at the album cover was completely off, at least initially in this track. But it is like it's just straight acoustic guitar. And, you know, just as on the album cover, there's like fire in the background and such, his voice and the kind of energy that he's giving is a little bit fiery, a contained but passionate fire in how he's singing. And I like how this track is really just verse, chorus, and there's not a huge delineation and change between them. You know, the bass comes up a lot more in the chorus, which I really enjoy. The drums kind of move the same way throughout, but it's really that movement from guitar and the bass and, of course, his direction of the vocals that changes everything. And I think that that's a simple formula, but it works really well. Also thinking about the name of not only the album, but this title track that we're playing, Straight Ahead. This is a straight ahead, straightforward, no frills, no, you know, extras, accoutrements, or anything like that. This is just a straightforward piece of music, and I think that it comes across really, really nicely. And I like how the song almost has this kind of desert kind of sound as well. There's something dusty on the guitar. There's something well traveled in his vocal styling, and it sounds worn, but not worn out. Experienced, not over encumbered or, you know, too much. I think that this was a really nice song. There's a part of me, there's a small part of me, very small actually, that says like, oh, it'd be cool if there was a little solo in here or something. But I like the sound of the verse and the chorus and how this played. So I'm honestly not missing it that much. It was barely worth me even mentioning, to be honest. I've heard this story just about a million times, but I read the book, man. I know what's in between the lines. There's a long road ahead before they can really see. It's time to break you loose. It's time to set you free. While we search for too long to end up lost, you can't look back. You just look straight ahead. Just straight ahead. He says, I've heard this story, but I read the book. I know how this is going to end. I know what I need to do. Like I said, kind of reiterating the experience. He has this maturation here. You know, just looking straight ahead. I just need to move forward. A friend of mine, he pumped the world right through his veins. He broke down and cried, oh, it's such a shame. The pain people feel, how can this be right? Like we're all lost souls here, blind in the light. Now, I don't know anything about the history with the Wipers. Could this be something referencing maybe a band member? Or it could just, of course, be a friend. Or maybe it's neither of those. Maybe it's just symbolism. But is he referencing possibly one of his bandmates from Wipers getting into drugs or something of that nature? And it broke him down? There's too many heartaches, just too many times. There's so many people here, just so many trying. Well, who's going to save us when we reach? And then it just fades out there. Reach what? No matter what the end is, perhaps it doesn't matter what we're going to reach. The point is, we move straight ahead. No matter what happens to the sides of us, no matter what happens around us, no matter what happens to the people around us, we move straight ahead. Right? He even says after mentioning his friend, like, we're all lost souls here, blind in the night, blind leading the blind, but you got to keep moving no matter what. Let's move on to the next track here, Soul's Tongue. Interesting title. It really does have a Western kind of feel to it.
Footprints painted as the truth walks on. You know, if the streets could only talk, since we've walked them all before. In the shadows of life gone by, if you could only open up, show me your secrets, while your tombstone eyes appear through the night. The door's wide open, you can come on in. Don't really care where you've been. The sky's wide open and the heavens pouring down.
I like how this chorus opened up from his speaking in the verse.
Speak to me with your soul's tongue. Footprints painted as the truth walks on. You know, if the streets could only talk, since we walked them so many times before, in the shadows of life gone by, just open up, show me those secrets, while your tombstone eyes appear through mine. The door's wide open, you can come on in. Don't really care who you've been. The sky's wide open and the heavens pouring down. Speak to me with your soul's tongue.
Okay, so perhaps I'm assuming, just by the way the first two tracks are going, that maybe the whole album may be in this kind of acoustic Western kind of vibe, which I think is really cool with the direction that he's taking it so far. And this track in the verse, he kind of takes on a more speaking manner rather than singing. There's a word in there he elongates and he kind of holds on to, but he does it without purifying the note. He doesn't like sing it in like some beautiful way or try to. He just kind of speaks and holds the word in his mouth, on his tongue there, which I think it's kind of like an interesting texture in the music. And the music is definitely all about textures as we're listening to it. And then when we get to the chorus, then it becomes just a little bit more sing-songy, but not so much, just a little bit. And I like how, you know, even in the chorus, when it gets to that point, when he holds his notes and at certain points, he never over polishes it. He's never trying to sound perfect. And can I tell you, listening to this, completely different eras and such, but it's nice to hear like just rough voices and imperfections in the music and the sound, as opposed to a decent amount of modern music, which is just so clean and overproduced to the point that you almost lose that imperfect beauty and wonderment that humans, us, provide to the music. And it's just really nice to hear it in a stripped down kind of setting here with this track. It's nice to hear it in this particular movement. I'm curious where this goes. And some of the lyrics were not right exactly. So I'm trying to see if I can find like maybe another website that has the lyrics maybe just a little bit better. But I don't know if that's going to work. But we'll see. There were some misspellings and such on the previous one, and I don't think it was quite right. So we're on Music Match. Footprints painted as the truth walks on. You know, if the streets could only talk, since we've talked them all before in the shadows of life gone by. If you could only open up, show me your secrets while the tombstone eyes appear through the night. The door's open wide, or wide open, you can come on in. Don't really care where you've been. So there's talk of footprints, streets, walking, movement. But there's a movement happening, but he also says in the verse, while your tombstone eyes appear through the night. What could that mean? Could that mean that her eyes are, in a sense, dead? There's something buried underneath her eyes, just as there's something buried underneath a tombstone. But he also says the door's open. You know, don't care where you've been. The sky's open wide and the heavens pouring down. Speak to me with your soul's tongue. Speak to me with depth, with the tongue of your soul. the language of your persona, who you are. And you repeat those lyrics there again. That's how I view this. He wants this person to speak to him with their true self. Not put on airs, not put on a mask, so to speak. And even though their eyes may be as tombstones, he wants what's under that. Speak to him with the soul's tongue. The lyrics weren't as full here. Even though it repeats, it wasn't as, it didn't make as much sense there. Let's move on to the next track here, which is Blue Cowboy. The album has a theme to it. It really does. A little lead goes a long way. I love this guitar lead.
Cowboy rides off through the tide. The wolves, they howling out for the lost. We'll never reach the other side. Other side. Blue cowboy rides off through the land. His love, it blew away with the desert sand. Now his horse is his only friend. Only friend. Blue cowboy rides off through the clouds. He rode straight into the sun. They buried him with his boots on. With his boots on.
This is my favorite song so far. Blue Cowboy like perfectly captures so far the sound of this album and puts it into this really interesting package. Okay, so can I tell you? One, it's a small thing, but I love that guitar lead. Ba, 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 ba. Like it almost can I tell you? It sounds like a post-punk guitar line, but filtered through a Western theme. And I think you get that guitar line like perfectly, just like here. And there's a sense that even in the movement of this track, it kind of moves in that kind of Joy Division magazine, Chameleons. It kind of moves in that pace, New Order. But like I said, just viewing it from a Western filter, and it's kind of cool. Like it's really cool to hear that sound in this particular scenery. And I think that Greg is doing a great job here. And this is, to me, perhaps even the most accessible track on the album so far. And it also feels like the most complete with the way that he's playing the guitar. You know, obviously starting off with the lead is an excellent choice in my opinion to kind of start off differentiating it from the previous two. But then even as he moves into the track and repeats that line, at one point he plays a little bit more off of that lead, and it almost edges towards a little bit of a solo, but not quite. But it is enough for me to satisfy that solo need, like that craving that I was kind of looking for. I think that this is a really nice track. And, you know, this would, I mean, we're listening to the whole album, but like this would be an album, a good one to probably just like take on a complete uninterrupted listen, because it really does have a flow to it, and it has a really natural environment in this kind of Western-esque sound that he's really doing a great job in here. Blue cowboy rides off through the range. The wind it cries his lonely name. He's on a lonely trail again. Blue cowboy rides off through the tide. The wolves they howl, and out fall the lost. He'll never reach the other side. Blue cowboy rides off through the land. His love it blew away with the desert sand. Now his horse is his only friend. Blue cowboy rides off through the clouds. He rode straight into the sun. They buried him with his boots on. So there's a few things. First of all, there's a change in place. First, he's riding through the range, then through the tide, then through the land, and finally through the clouds, as if dying, right? He's walked the earth. He's sailed the sea. He's treaded the land with his horse, and now he's off through the clouds. He's to death. Right? They buried him with his boots on. They buried him as he was. And then also, you know, when he rode straight into the sun, the third from the end line, that's like he's you can imagine at the end of a Western movie, the cowboy just riding out of town towards the horizon, towards the sun. And that signifies an end, right? He rides towards the sunset. Sunset also meaning the end of his life symbolically. And he lived as a cowboy. He died as a cowboy. And it's titled Blue Cowboy. I mean, I would say that there's a sadness in it, right? It's his lonely name, lonely trail. He'll never reach the other side. His love, it blew away with the desert sand. So there's a lot of little tragedies and little sadnesses that are happening in here to culminate in the reason that he's called Blue Cowboy. That's a good song. That's a really good one. I like that one a lot. Your Empathy is the next track here. Oh, he's galloping now.
Do you think that we just existed for that moment? Wanted to share the only things that no one else could bear. Do you still see me in the dead of night? Wanted waiting for a certain spark to set us all ablaze, to set us all ablaze, to set us all ablaze, to set us all ablaze.
See, even that good little guitar bit sounds kind of post-punk.
Empathy flows down just like the pouring rain. I'm down here below, soaking it up like a sponge. You still see me when the new day comes. Waiting for a certain spark to set us all ablaze, to set us all ablaze, to set us all ablaze.
That's the punk.
Set us all ablaze.
That is the punk. brought the energy on this one, because this one moves closer into that just punk kind of phase. You can kind of hear that kind of energy from the band. You can kind of hear that coming from him in this one a little bit more. In like, of course, the riff itself, first of all, is still teetering with that Western vibe, but now it has that gallop. Ba 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 ba. And then set it all ablaze, set it all ablaze, right? But without going like that fast punk tempo, still holding it back a little bit, still restraint, but definitely giving a little bit more punk in this particular one, especially when he just goes off and says the "set it all ablaze" section that he goes through. Once again, the guitar begins to stand out a little bit here as well. So previously, in the previous track, we got a little bit more of a smoother tone to an extent. And now we've gone full foray into feedback and distortion. And, I really like how we play in that static-y chaos when it comes to the sound of guitar. I like how that's used in here to add to the heaviness and to add to this kind of manic emotion that the track is playing in. And which through he clearly kind of breaks in here as well. Now, I haven't said anything about the other players because I'm not 100% sure on who's playing everything else in this. Here, I'm pulling it up right now here for you. You guys, I have the Discogs open. So, like, I see that, on drums, Dean Johnson on some tracks, Pat Baum as well. And then for Greg himself, I can only assume... Oh, here you go. Vocals, acoustic guitar, bass. Yeah, he's playing everything else. So a very thin band when it comes to everything, for the most part. Greg is really handling almost everything except drums, basically. And so I like how this feels like obviously it's a solo album from him, but it feels like what's the word? It's a phrase. Like a pet project? Is that what I'm thinking? Like a personal project? And of course, that's kind of obvious when it comes to a solo material from a member and from someone in a band. This is their personal and pet project, something more closer to the chest, so to speak. But I think that it really showcases a certain side of Greg that, although we've only heard one album from Wipers, wasn't hearing anything like this from them. It sounds very different from Wipers. Do you think that we just existed for that moment, wanting to share the only things that no one else could bear? Do you still see me in the dead of night, running, waiting for a certain spark to set us all ablaze? And then this is when he really does set it ablaze, when he repeats that line, set us all ablaze. Your empathy flows down just like the pouring rain. I'm down here below, soaking it up like a sponge. Do you still see me when the new day comes, waiting for that certain spark to set us ablaze? Then he repeats the first verse again there. Like, the track is called Empathy, and he sets questions to this other person. Do you think we only existed for just that moment? Or was it more? Do you still see me in the dead of night? Still see me in the dead of night, waiting for that spark to set us ablaze. Now, is this a good spark and setting us ablaze in a romantic inferno and the throes of love? Or is this waiting for that certain spark to ignite their already perhaps fragile romance and set it ablaze in destruction? I'm leaning towards the latter. And he's just waiting for that to happen. Does he want it to happen? No. He does not want that to happen. But it almost feels like perhaps it's inevitable, is what he's saying. Let's move on to the next track here. The illusion fades. I like the riffs in this album.
Whispers coming from the dead of night. Hide my eyes from the candlelight. It's so important. Oh, don't want to see people everywhere, come and go and no one cares. It's so important. Can you dig this vivid thing that's going on?
shark in the water kind of riff.
Do you really know what love is? To color into something to live for when the pain is too much to bear. Nothing there, so hard to share. Don't know what to do, don't know what to say, don't know who to blame. It's so important. Can you dig this vivid thing that's going on?
A little two note.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, do you tell the truth at all? Or is it just illusion? Oh, don't want to see. Can I pass through your dimension? Could we reach the other side? It's so important. Can you dig this vivid thing that's going on?
I like how the song is called The Illusion Fades, and at the end of the track, it fades out as he repeats the illusion fades, as if everything he spoke about before, perhaps the subject as well, fades away into the ether, just never to be heard of again. This track is once again picking up that post-punk energy. I love that little two-tone ba-ba, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-ba. It's a nice driving riff to take up the majority of that, and then to give a little bit of spark on top, that two-tone ba-ba is really nice. And I like how through this track as well, if you listen to the bass line behind the main riff, it kind of works its way. At first it's just chugging along with the guitar, but then eventually when it moves up into the next bar and after that da-da, it works its way up to meet the guitar on the same note, and then it works its way back down. It stays a little bit, and then it works its way back up, and it's this nice kind of driving up and down motion, kind of acting as its own little version of a gallop that moves this track along in a nice way. But I don't have a lot to say on this one. I don't think it's bad at all. It's nothing like that. Just nothing as much stood out. I think that this is a nice song that just fits into the puzzle of this album. And I do like the ending of it, how it just kind of drives away. Whispers coming from the dead of night, hide my eyes from the candlelight. It's so important, oh, don't want to see. People everywhere, come and go, and no one cares. It's so important. It's the illusion. Can you dig this vivid thing that's going on? Do you really know what love is? The color into something to live for. Do you know what love is? He answers it, the color into something to live for. Love is coloring in the outline of something, giving it color, giving it life. When the pain is too much to bear, nothing there so hard to share. Don't know what to do, don't know what to say, don't know who to blame. It's so important, can you dig this vivid thing? Mirror, mirror on the wall, do you tell the truth at all? Or is it just illusion? Oh, don't want to see. Can I pass through your dimension? Could we reach the other side? It's so important. And it kind of reminds me of Blue Cowboy. He says that the cowboy will never reach the other side. Here, of course, talking about the mirror, and, you know, he asks, do you even tell the truth at all? Of course, questioning himself in the mirror. And then he says, can I pass through your dimension to the other side? Well, wouldn't the other side be the same? So what is he really looking for? And perhaps in looking for whatever he's looking for, he realizes that the illusion fades. There is no other side. It's just you and reality. And I think that there's sort of a depressing realization as he goes through that. And hence why he repeats the illusion fades, as if almost muttering to himself in the mirror. and then slapped with the cold hand of reality. Let's move on to the next track. We'll listen to the next two because the next one's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long. That would be Seems So Clear into On the Run. That's snappy.
I wanna change the world. I wanna change your mind. I wanna be more than substance. Wanna be a part of you. But it seems so clear that what we thought was near is not. I wanna be more than color. I wanna be beyond their lives. I wanna know where we're going. I wanna know just where we've been. But it seems so clear that what we thought was near is not.
That's kind of janky guitar.
I wanna feel a change. I wanna feel something real. I wanna be more than substance. I wanna be a part of you. But it seems so clear that what we thought was near is not.
Playing a little bluesy there. Just hitting those notes. It's good as a country kind of sound to it.
It's so hard here living on the run. Can't remember where I begun. Just need an anchor as solid as a stone. Please don't remind me I'll be getting on. Oh, it's so hard, just hanging on. It's so hard here living on the run. Just need to find us a blazing sun. For it's tomorrow's day upon the rise. Please don't remind me I'll be getting on. Oh, it's so hard, just hanging on. It's so hard here living on the run. Thought I was the only one. So many others are standing in the way. Please don't remind me I'll be bleeding on. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, it's so hard, just hanging on.
Okay. On the Run may also be my second favorite track on the album. Because it moves into an almost, maybe not completely different style, but we move from the Western theme into something very like country, basically. And Greg sounds convincing. He sounds great in this, once again, a different scene. Is there a tandem between them? Sure. Is there a connection? Sure, between Western and country. And he perfectly maneuvers into On the Run with a very, it sounds heartfelt acoustic guitar song. And you have the acoustic guitar, and then you have a little bit of fuzz in the back from another guitar with whatever effect is on there. And just those two things together with his voice, make for a really nice environment and a really great case, especially like a little bit over halfway in the album. I think that On the Run is kind of like a palate cleanser. It kind of resets us, gives us something slightly tonally different than what we heard before. And then we're ready to go on with the second half of the album. So I think that's a really cool way to do that. And I just think it's a cool little song. And I really like how his voice sounds in that kind of country setting. And then with Seems So Clear, I like the ending solo there. It's short-lived, but I like the kind of bluesy, it starts off bluesy, solo we get here. In its own scratchy way, it's bluesy. And he just fades out doing that. But this Seems So Clear is like the barn burner. That's the traveling in the old pickup truck. I'm talking like that old rusty pickup truck, and you're driving down bumpy country roads in that. Like that's the scenery I get. That's what I'm feeling from there. And perhaps even the guitar solo at the end is the car is falling apart. The radio don't work. You're getting a lot of static. The flies are buzzing in your ear. But you know what? You're having a great time and a great fun moment exploring the freedom of this open country road. That's what I hear listening to this. You're telling me, you're telling me that when you're listening to that, you don't picture something like, it's a blurry picture. You don't picture something like, there's a car on driving on country road. You know what? All of these work. This is what I think of. This is like the sound or the scene I get. It fits. It fits. Should have kept you on the screen. We're looking at the lyrics. I'm bouncing between Genius and this site, by the way, because Music Match should not have lyrics for this one. I want to change the world. I want to change your mind. I want to be more than substance. I want to be a part of you. But it seems so clear that what we thought was near is not. That illusion has faded. I want to be more than color. Remember the color filling in the outline? I want to be the underlies. I want to know where we're going. I want to know just where we've been. But it seems so clear that what we thought was near is not. I want to feel the change. I want to feel something real. I want to be more than substance. I want to be a part of you. But that ain't happening. He just wants more out of this relationship. He wants clarity, a definition on the relationship. And he says, I want to be more than substance. I don't want to just be a substance to you. I want to be part of you. Not just this thing. And then moving on to On the Run. It's so hard here, living on the run. Can't remember where I begun. Just need an anchor as solid as a stone. Please don't remind me. I'll be getting on. It's like I'll be moving on. Oh, it's so hard just hanging on. So hard here, living on the run, rather. Just need to find us a blazing sun, for it's tomorrow's day upon the rise. Please don't remind me. I'll be getting on. I like how he keeps on saying, please don't remind me. Like, don't remind me. I'm moving. I'm moving on. You don't have to tell me. And it says with a sadness too, right? Which works with the lyrics in the title. It's so hard here living on the run. Thought I was, the only one. So many others are standing in the way. Please don't remind me. I'll be bleeding on. So it's, of course, first getting on, but then bleeding on. So now there's a pain involved. There's a suffering involved. And it's almost like, he's bleeding out in a sense, symbolically. You know, what is he bleeding out? He's bleeding out home, a place to just stay. He's losing whatever it is that's keeping him going. This symbolic blood. It's just so hard hanging on. Really like On the Run. Second favorite track so far. Let's move on to the next one, which is Astro Cloud. Not Astrophage. Epic kind of sweet to it.
was young, I used to wonder, why people hid their love behind a mask. But now that I'm older, I still feel like I'm living in the past.
It's a good one.
You just see in my mind past the haze to the astral cloud. You know I have a friend. Thought he lived on the dark side. No, he's not a blind man. But he lost his sight. You just see through my eyes
Very dreamy.
past the haze to the astral cloud. All alone once again. Oh, so far away. To the beat of a different drum. Oh, just can't relate. Just see through my eyes past the haze to the astral cloud.
Big waves of texture, this one.
Maybe in the next life, oh, we could get it right. There's no answers here. Oh, it's just black and white. You see through my mind past the pain to the astral cloud.
I can't quite say why, but for some reason, the sound in here reminded me a little bit of like some parts of Starfish from the church. Can't quite say why. I think that it's because it shares a somewhat dreamy-esque atmosphere, the same way that they do. Like in this track, I'm getting a lot of that from the guitars and just the kind of slow, middling pace of it, the kind of drifting in and out of the guitar. It really plays in like a waves kind of way. Bum, bum, dum, bum, bum, bum. It builds up, then bum, 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 and then it comes back down. Like this little low pressure back and forth system that's created here. It moves with a really certain kind of dreaminess, and I think that works really nice because to me it kind of moves away a little bit from the Western tones that we've had previously in the album, and it's nicely continued and transitioned into something a little bit different, but at the same time a little bit more of the same. So it's cool how we've kind of gotten this little bit of a transition at this point, and this isn't the longest track on the album, but up to this point, besides the first track, it's the longest track, you know. The previous 7 songs or so have been under 4 minutes, and now we've hit a 4-minute 9-second song. So a little bit more time given to this one, and it kind of feels interesting, like almost besides the first track, which is 4 minutes as well. We've kind of gotten hit with like short Western vignettes. Vignettes. The G is silent. And then this one has brought us back into something longer with its dreaminess, which I really like. I just really like the flow of this album. It moves very, very nicely listening to it. When I was young, I used to wonder why people hid their love behind a mask. But now that I'm older, I still feel like I'm living in the past. He still feels this way. You just see in my mind past the haze to the astral cloud. You know I have a friend. I thought he lived on the dark side. No, he's not a blind man, but he lost his sight. That's a good line. He's not a blind man, but he lost his sight. You just see through my eyes past the haze to the astral cloud. All alone once again so far away to the beat of a different drum. You just can't relate. You just see through my eyes. Maybe in the next life we could get it right. There's no answers here. It's just black and white. You just see through my mind past the pain. So now it's past the pain and not just past the haze. Greg does a really nice job continually through a lot of these songs of changing a word or two in the chorus to mean something different. So that haze is now pain. This time, we didn't get it right. But next time, I'm hoping that, we may have another shot at this. We may have another chance at this. And he says it's in the next life. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's not going to happen in this lifetime, if ever. If we get another shot, I hope that it comes, but it's not going to come any day soon. And he still doesn't understand why people hide their love behind a mask. Now, of course, relating this to his personal relationship there. Really nice connections through this track. And I really, really like the way that he writes and changes those words just to show a progression in the track and in the story that's happening. Let's move on to the next song, Lost in Space. Never saw that show. Or was it a movie? I think it was a show. Spacey. Space here. It's like little satellites passing by. Kind of hitting like a Pink Floyd kind of sound here. Really is.
Can we talk about the outer regions of this space? 'Cause nothing can help.
This is so Pink Floyd coded.
'Cause it's lost in space. regions behind your mind. 'Cause it's lost. It's lost. Lost in space.
We're going into interesting territory here because this song, it almost plays like an interlude, even though it's still, 3 minutes long or such. But like the sound effects, the way he's playing guitar, the echo, the reverb, the chord changes, the way they move in a slow but powerful way, it's very Pink Floyd. This is really giving me like easily Pink Floyd. And it is so cool how the track is simple. There's not a lot happening, but with not so much. Okay, let me start over. With so little, you can do so much. And even the way that he sings, the way that he drags his voice through these echoes, and he brings it into the fold with the ambience of it all, and just provides this really cool tapestry of atmosphere, is fantastic. And it's, can I once again just praise the track listing and how we've started so earthy with this Western sound, and with the previous track we hit dreaminess with Astro Cloud, and now we're kind of floating, lost in space. This is a journey up as we move down the track listing. Just very, very impressive, this one. This is cool. This is really, really cool how it's just progressing in general. Now, I couldn't find lyrics on Genius or on Music Match. They're both missing the lyrics, even though you could clearly hear them. So I'm on Facebook, and I'm not going to pull up the Facebook because I don't want people's names up on the screen. I don't have a Facebook, but I just don't want other people's names up here unnecessarily. Can we talk about the outer regions of this space? Because nothing can help erase because it's lost in space. Can we talk about the outer regions behind your mind? Because it's lost in space. So obviously, he's relating being lost in space, and can we talk about your outer regions, the outer regions of your mind, because it's lost in space. It seems throughout the past few tracks, he's trying to find definitiveness. He's trying to find the definition of a relationship. He's trying to get to the heart of the matter. He's trying to define things. And he's not getting that in any respect. And the first 3 words, can we talk? He's being as direct as he can be. He's not being overly symbolic. He's not being overly poetic. He's not beating around the bush. He just straight up asks, can we talk? Sometimes a conversation has to be had. Let's move on to the next track, which is entitled Let It Go. Now, you could even argue, depending on how this song goes, letting go of what's holding you back. I don't know, but let's find out. Very gravely. He's singing like a Tom Waits. that Tom Waits kind of sound.
Feel so empty, baby. Let it go. I know you don't understand why these feelings just will never end.
They don't end.
I really know just how to mess it up. Try to love something that's so cold. Find someone else to share its light. Feel so empty, baby. Let it go. You know I only need a friend. Someone who'll stick around to the bitter end.
Listening to this track, it's not as dreamy as like Astro Cloud, but it's kind of hitting that same kind of pace. And what I'm noticing from this album came out in '85, so a few years before the '90s, and it kind of has a grunge kind of sound to it, guitar wise, and also to an extent his singing. But his singing kind of carries the same melancholia and grit as Tom Waits. I'm feeling like he's singing in that particular style in this one. Greg Sage, like this album is showing a lot of talent from him. You know, like I haven't really thought at all recently about like the Wipers or anything like that, but exploring this album, it's kind of really, really fantastic. The different themes that it's gone through, the different sounds and places that it's taken us, but done so in a really cohesive journey. Like, it seems that the second half of the album is kind of tonally different than the first, which was much more kind of this Western sound, and we kind of seem to have left that behind to an extent. But even as we've shifted into these other sounds, like here, it's still just as good, just moving in a different way. But his voice, his singing, and the guitar playing is always the focus, and always the heart that's beating in here. And I love the way he holds the note on end, kind of ironically. Well, you know how to say lots of luck. Life's so easy when you let it go. No meaning under the night, feels so empty, baby. Let it go. You know I don't understand why these feelings just will never end. And of course, as he says will never end, he holds his note for quite a bit. So it truly doesn't end. Well, you really know just how to turn me up. Try to reach out, but it's so cold. Just a shadow running out of sight. Feels so empty, baby. Let it go. I know you don't understand why these feelings just will never end. Well, I really know just how to mess it up. Try to love something that's so cold. Find someone else to share in this life. Feels so empty, baby. Let it go. You know I only need a friend. Someone who'll stick around till the bitter end. And apparently, that ain't you. So let it go. Bye-bye. See you later. This one works.
Good.
Also,
Thanks,
that one as well.
Yeah, no thanks.
Let us move on forward to A World Without Fear. Longest track on the album at 5 minutes. Western, little Western. Those long dreaming notes.
I know where I stand.
The bass fill in.
But I don't wanna stand alone. There's too much confusion. Oh, on this lump of stone. But you know when you reach out, you should never let go. Never let go.
Right into the previous track.
I wish we could live a life, a life without tears. I wish we could live in a world without fear. Where the judged could be free, and the weak could be strong.
Ideal world.
We could be strong. I know where you stand, but you don't need to stand alone. You see, we could stand together. Yeah, and we could stand strong. We should be tight-knit. We could be sown. We could be sown. I wish we could live in a life, a life with all you hear. We should live in a world without fear. 'Cause you know when you reach out, you should never ever let go. Never let go.
World Without Fear is a track that I feel like it's very personal to Greg. Because musically, it's a nice setup, you know, kind of hitting and harkening back to the previous few tracks. You know, this kind of big echoey sound on the guitar that kind of strikes out things with big chords. But his singing here and his delivery, sometimes his speaking, is thoroughly passionate. The words that he's wrote down to sing to are thoroughly passionate. And they seem like these are things that he truly believes in and wants to happen in this ideal world, not only on a grand worldview scale, but also in personal relationships, as we've explored previously in the album. And so musically, there's not a lot to this. And it's not my favorite track on the album because it's kind of missing what I would like out of a 5-minute track from him. I feel like I want a little bit more out of it. However, On the other hand, I admire the track because it's 5 minutes of him sharing what I feel are his personal, the things that mean most to him at this particular point in his life and in many ways. That's what I get out of it. So I look at it with a deep respect for him to put that out there. He even starts off, I know where I stand. He has these beliefs. He knows where he stands, and he's going to stand and die on this hill, so to speak. But I don't want to stand alone. So he shares a strength in his declaration of where he stands, but also a vulnerability. But I don't want to stand alone. There's too much confusion, on this lump of stone that we call Earth. But when you reach out, you should never let go. Never let go. There's a reassurance here. I wish we could live a life without tears. I wish we could live in a world without fear, where the judge could be free and the weak could be strong. The weak could be strong. Now, why does he reiterate and echo this line? Do you think that perhaps he feels weak personally in some capacity? He doesn't want to stand alone. He feels a certain kind of weakness. So perhaps he's also reassuring himself. I know where you stand, but you don't need to stand alone. See, first it's talking about him, then this other person. You see, we can stand together. Yeah, we can stand strong. We should be tight-knit. Yeah, we can be sewn. I love that line. And of course, this may not be a singular person. He could just be speaking to us, the listener, all of us. And then he goes back to it. I wish we could live a life with all you hear. We should live in a world without fear. Because when you reach out, you should never, ever let go. Never let go. When you put out that effort, when you reach out, don't give up right then and there. You're not alone. See what I mean? Like lyrically, I feel like this is his message from his heart, his heartfelt message to the listener. That's what I think. Let's move on to the final track on the album. Keep on keeping on. Title-wise, another message of encouragement and movement. Interesting chords here.
Now and then, wonder when it all will end. Such a long way left to go. There's too much to do in such little time. Just point the way, give a shove, just to keep on, keeping on. So many people, I watch them fade to black. Hustling, bustling, yeah, buzz in my mind. Can't find the switch to turn it off. I think I'm walking a very narrow line, but to just keep on, keeping on.
It's very hollow sound.
but they close the door in your face. Can't change a sick existence. Don't wanna join them. Find a way to beat it so you can keep on, keeping on. Just keep on, keeping on. Just keep on, keeping on.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Sage, straight ahead, full album listen, full album reaction. And we end with an interesting one. Because on one hand, the message of this song works very well with the lyrics of every track previously. Works very well with the title of the album, the message of just keeping on. And, you know, even kind of as I mentioned, as you know, the people over here do this and the people over here do that. And some people fade from your life and such. You just keep moving straight ahead. You just keep on moving on. The music itself is interesting. The guitar sound has this kind of morose and abstract kind of sound to it. It's a little bit, it's treading the line of a certain kind of dissonance there with the way that it plays. There's like if some of the previous tracks had a near dreamy quality, this one, nightmare is too strong of a word, but it's a dream that it's just beginning to turn wrong. You know when you're having a dream and like you realize something's off and then you're like, uh-oh, this is about to change from a dream into something worse. It's right at that cusp of realization that your dream may not be the dream that you want it to be. And it's a really interesting kind of sound that it starts off with there. You know, like you can hear it from the very beginning. Almost has a kind of, I don't know, like a hot, I don't know. It has this, I don't know, like a bad hallucinogen kind of sound to it. I don't know why that's what I think of. And even the way that Greg sings here, it's more into that reserved, like I said, a little bit of a dour kind of sound. And he just goes on from there. So it's a strange one for me, this particular track to end the album. Maybe not necessarily lyrically, but musically, it's definitely an interesting choice. That's what I got to say. I didn't say it was bad. I didn't say it was good. It's a choice. Now and then I wonder when it all will end. Such a long way left to go. There's too much to do in such little time. Just point the way, give a shove. Just to keep on, keep on. Even if you just need to give a shove, just as long as you move forward. So many people I watch them fade to black, hustling, bustling, yeah, buzzing my mind. Can't find the switch to turn it off. I think I'm walking a very narrow line. But just keep on, keep on. Your eyes cut through their haze, but they close the door in your face. Can't change a sick existence. Don't want to join them. Find a way to beat it so you can keep on keeping on. Don't join them. Just find a way to beat it. And just keep on, keep on. So no matter what, once again, no matter what's around you, no matter what's in front of you, to the sides of you, even behind you, don't let anything drag you down. Do whatever you have to do to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward on that path straight ahead. Let's read some of the information on this here before we dive into the favorite songs and such. Sage said of this album, after I recorded Over the Edge, I had $5,000 invested into that record. The company went bankrupt, so they took the money and started a new label. We got screwed and I had no way of paying back the debt, so that was the end of the Wipers. I was out in the Mojave Desert and I wrote a bunch of songs on the acoustic guitar. I fixed a tape recorder for somebody, an 8-track recorder, so I got to use it for a month as a fee for fixing it, I guess. I just recorded those songs. Then one day someone called from a record label, a guy that used to work for the label that screwed us, and he said, "I feel sorry for you guys." Then I told him that I didn't have any Wipers stuff for him and that the Wipers didn't exist anymore. Anyway, the label licensed Straight Ahead, a live record, some old tapes, and basically got me out of debt for Over the Edge. If I never recorded those songs, Over the Edge would have been the last Wipers record. Was it the last Wipers record? No. So got him out of that debt so they could continue on from there then. Favorite tracks on this album? Very easily, Blue Cowboy, On the Run, and Lost in Space. So easily. I love Blue Cowboy and the way that it really dives into that Western sound, but does it with such perfect poise. On the Run is a cool country diversion from the rest of this tracks on here, and a good one at that. And then Lost in Space is just so tonally different once again, but absolutely brilliant and pleasing. For as short as it is, I wish it was a little bit longer here. But if there's once again one thing I can praise out of this album, besides the praise I've given it already, I just love how it moves. I love how the journey actually feels like a journey from beginning to end, from perhaps some western desert and some travels on dusty trails into, space, something cosmic rather, and then into something a little bit more personal once again with some internal messages there. This is a really, really good album to listen to. I enjoyed this one a lot. I appreciate the recommendation. Andreas, thank you so much for the support as well. Thank you. That was good. I like that. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. What are your favorite songs on the album? What are your least favorite songs on the album? How did you feel about the movement of it, the journey of it, etc.? Hope that you guys enjoy spending a little bit of time with me. I appreciate you all being here. Please come back tomorrow. You never know what we're doing. And I hope you have a wonderful one out there, guys. Bye.